Later this afternoon, on Friday afternoon, I have the privilege of doing a funeral for one of our former members. You may or may not remember Bob Cicada. He was a mentally handicapped individual with Down syndrome. He attended mostly our worship services and then our Wednesday night programming. And to be honest, I really didn't know much about Bob until I met with his family. And once having met with his family, I have quite a story to tell. I'm going to be sharing a lot of what I'm sharing with you at the funeral. But since you all won't be at the funeral, I thought I might share it with you. And because it's such a really a profound and grace-filled story. Bob was 60 years old when he died, and he was part of the first of those who got to go to regular school and part of the mainstream process that they had back at that time in the late 70s. And as such, he also was part of a regular Sunday school class at his church, and they really welcomed him in and made him feel really much at home. He also went through that with that class through confirmation instruction as well. And they really championed him as part of the congregation. And then, as Bob grew older, he needed to leave where he was in Nebraska so that he could have more opportunities for employment. And of course, you may know that Wichita is one of those places. And here he found another great home, and Ascension became his church for a while. He has quite a history with Special Olympics in that he was one of the first people to be part of an exhibition group that introduced roller skating as an event in Special Olympics. He was very proud of that. And Special Olympics was a big part of the whole family's life, and it's just really special for them to be a part of that. But the thing I really wanted to share with you is what Bob was to his family. I'm going to have you imagine just for a moment, and I know it doesn't really happen this way, so I want you to pretend with me, okay? Let's pretend that this family, God was looking down, and he looked up in heaven and he said, you know, I need somebody to go be a part of this family who will be my love and compassion, my kindness and my happiness. This family really needs it. But there's only one caveat. To be a part of this family and to give all those great gifts, you will need to have Down syndrome. Now imagine, keep in mind this is all pretend, but imagine if Bob raised his hand and says, I'll go. Well, you have some sense then of what Bob was to his family. They really needed somebody to bring the joy, the happiness, the compassion. And not only did he need all of those, but he gave them freely, unconditionally. And the family attributes that it was Bob who really brought that kind of God's salvation to them in that compassion and love. Now, I know it's just a pretend version, but in reality, he not only gave compassion and love and happiness and received it, but it was all part of God's giving a gift to this family. Of course, it would be Jesus who would be the ultimate person in reality who would raise his hand and say, I'll go. I will go not only to this family, but to every family, because they really need compassion and kindness and gentleness and happiness. And Jesus has given that to us. Now, in each of our families, we all have our ups and our downs. But if you know Jesus, if he's part of your life, which if you're listening to this video, most of the people who listen to this are members of the church, you know that love and compassion. But it is also real people. You as a member of the family, you are the hands and the feet and the voice of that love and compassion in your family, in your home. And Bob was so blessed to be that graciousness, that love for his family. And by God's grace, as we have received that from Jesus, so we are to our families. And so as I speak about Bob and all the great things God did to him and through him for his family. As I speak at his funeral on Friday, also consider what God is doing for your home through you and all of your gifts and all of your abilities. He has chosen to place you in that home. You to be the spouse, the father, the mother, the brother, the sister, the aunt, the uncle, the cousin, the good friend. God has chosen you to be a part of that family, to bring his love and grace. He, of course, is the source of all of that through his Son Jesus. But you are the ones through whom God gives that grace. Blessings on the Sakata family as they mourn the death and the loss of Bob. And blessings on your family as God gives that continued grace through you to them.